Hi, I'm Whack.
And I'm Pat, and this is another episode of the Weekly Orbit where we summarize the week's news in Rocket Pool. We got a big show again, Whack, as we were talking about before we started recording. Just when we thought this was a slow week, start putting together the agenda, and it's plenty of. We had a couple things out to squeeze it in within 30 minutes. So we got a little surprise at the end too. Look forward to listeners and viewers. So stay with us to the very end.
There's never a slow week in Rocket Pool land, let's just say.
No, there's not. Even in the middle of summer, right?
Yeah. And in the middle of, in the bear market-ish, like with
in a
prices
bear market
depressed,
too.
there's still amazing stuff happening.
I know. We're going to have to add like a third person when the bull market comes. All right, so let's start with a little bit of stats on the week. This is our Rocket Scan Explorer. The RPL ETH ratio has seen better days. It's at 0.01545. And if we go up, did you want to say something about that?
Yeah, I was just going to say it's kind of like hovering around the lows of this move so far. So, we've not seen prices this low since the end of last year, I think, or the beginning of this year in terms of the ratio. So it's really like, sitting at that level. And if you ask people who follow TA, they'll say that this is a good zone of support. But if we fall through this, then we've got another like 10-15% to fall. Supposedly, if you follow the technical analysis charting people, I don't know. Like, I know that, the price has kind of been holding this place. I really hope that we can bounce up, but hopefully we'll see that soon.
Yeah, we'll see. In terms of our ETH supply this week, we're at 487,739. How did it go this week? Because last week we were talking about deposits, and apparently there's some bots playing around with things. So, are we up on the week in terms of supply?
Yeah, so we're slightly up on the week. Like, if you have a look at the deposit pool tab, you'll see that ETH is still coming in, but we've had a few notable burns this week, which has kind of kept the total supply just under that 500,000 mark. So if you look like the daily, we've had 3,000, 2,000, 2,000. Like, these are really respectable numbers, But the reason why the rETH supply isn't growing that strongly is because they've been the corresponding burns. So this page that you're looking at right now doesn't show burns of rETH, it just shows total mints. If you scroll up to the top, it'll tell you like, we've passed, I think, 600,000 or so, or more than 550,000 and under, there. So you can try to just squeeze it 598,000, right? So almost 600,000 total mint, but over 100,000 of that has now been burned as well. So we're at 487,000. We haven't actually ever crossed the 500,000 rETH in circulation, but I'm hoping we'll get there soon.
Sure.
Yeah.
And this week was one of the favorite weeks, or actually every 28 days is my favorite day because it's smoothing pool and RPL rewards day. And we had it this week. It was a barn burner of a payout for what were we over 600?
I think 610 or 600, no, 615 or 620, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Yeah, 619. So that's a record.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for that. Let's talk about the smoothing pool for a moment here. What is a smoothing pool? Let's get to the basics. So you can, if you want to join in, you get the benefits of socializing all the, MEV that's captured by everyone else in the pool. Okay, so when you're running your node, it's kind of a lottery, every few months perhaps, or maybe every 10 months, or maybe every 2 weeks, you get selected to be a proposer, and you can get a little bit of execution awards.
Yeah.
If you join the pool, you're guaranteed to get something every month, and right now we've got about 57.7% of mini pools are in the pool. It's about 77% of all nodes. And there was a significant one this week, Whack, where 253.5 ETH was deposited. That was a humongous block that was awarded to one of our node operators.
Yep.
And you want to discuss that a little bit?
Yeah, Conspiracy joined the conspiracy.eth, who's on the screen you can see now, joined the smoothing pool and got this mega block. And I feel kind of bad for him. Like, once I joined the smoothing pool, I stopped checking my proposals
Yeah, me
because
too.
I'm happy to be in the smoothing pool. I know that it works out better overall in the long run. Well, in the very long run, it kind of balances out, but in the medium to long run, it's more profitable to be in the smoothing pool. However, like if I got one of these mega blocks, I would be very upset about that. But Conspiracy took it really well, and yeah, hats off to them. What's really funny, Pat, is like just in last week's episode, we were talking about how this was going to be like a ho hum
Yeah.
MEV like smoothing pool month, and then just one block changed all of that. Like it pretty much doubled the amount that we had in at the time, and it's been really wonderful. Like sadly, this MEV came from a hack that was happening of the Curve protocol. So, Jasper says here, like while it's nice for the Rocket Pool community, we echo that we express the deepest sympathies to the protocols that were hacked leading to this block. I'm glad that ETH is not going to the black hat who stole from the ecosystem, but I certainly would rather it not have happened at all. So I think a lot of us share this sentiment that, while it's nice that we got this was actually like a not good thing overall. And it just strengthens the case for like an MEV burn going forward, and putting that in the Ethereum blockchain like at the core level. I think that is hopefully where we're heading in the next couple of years.
Yeah, in this case, we received it because our node operator was in the pool, and it socialized that 253 amongst all node operators and our ETH holders.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess without just protocol-wide MEV burn, this was the second best thing because it shared it amongst thousands of people.
Yeah.
Having said that, I heard some discussion of, hey, should Rocket Pool give back that? And the mechanics of doing that are above my pay grade, and whether that's even feasible or possible. I mean, I understand the sentiment, because for those who got their funds stolen, it would be nice to have it sent back. But the way the mechanics of our smoothing pool is set up, it's just not realistic, especially in such a tight time frame as well.
Yeah,
as I understand it.
The reward block came 2 days before the reward period, or 3 days before the reward period, and trying to organize that, like to put a block on that, just wasn't going to be feasible. There might be some ideas that you could put a proposal to sell some ETH rewards or something, I don't know, like to try to give it back. I have no idea what the logistics of that would be, and I don't think the community would vote on that either. It's sad that this is the situation that it's happened in, but I don't think there's anything we can do really, or nothing possible really.
And this giant block also boosted our ETH APR. This is a chart that we see. If you're watching this, there's a green line that was hovering around 4%, and then it spiked to 6% in just like one day. Could you explain how this works, Mark?
Yeah, okay. So there's 3 lines here to look at. There's a blue dashed line that is like effectiveness of the ETH in the Rocket Pool ecosystem. So how much of that is actually being used in staking right now? At the beginning of June, that crashed down to below 75%, around 70%. So that was really hurting the rewards that our ETH holders were getting, because there was so much ETH that wasn't productive, right? So then this chart shows 2 other lines.
They were all stuck in the beacon chain.
In the queue, for like 45 days. And that has been like trending back up now. It's back nearly to 90% basically. Then there's 2 other lines. There's the yellow line, which is the actual rewards that you get, and then there's a green line that is virtual. So that means that if there was no queue here, then what would the rewards look like? So the green line is just like letting you know that this is like what it should be like if we're back at 100%, and the yellow line is the actual rewards that you're getting. So the spike that has happened is because of the share of that MEV block that is going to the rETH holders spiked up really high, and on that one day, it actually peaked at 17%. Our ETH rewards for that one day. So that was really nice for the ETH holders, of course. But overall, like this is just brought back. Like all those factors together has just made rETH a little bit more attractive again to stake with.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the advantages of Rocket Pool that we have this smoothing pool, and we're sharing those execution awards amongst our ETH holders and node operators if you're in the pool.
Yeah. But
So-
even if there wasn't a smoothing pool, like those blocks do get shared with the rETH holders, right? They get the node operators share minus commission, so that gets taken away, and then the rest of it goes to the rETH holders. So they were going to get this regardless. It's just this time we also got like 2,000 node operators getting it as well. So that was nice.
Sure. Okay, on to our next news of the week. Jasper, a friend of the pod here, tweets out the first reduction in the oDAO inflation was just executed on chain, reducing their share by 50% immediately and increasing to a 90% cut within 1 year. These funds are being sent to the Rocket Pool Protocol DAO instead. The community asked, and the community has delivered. So this is a significant change. Whack, do you want to give us a breakdown of why this is so important?
Yeah. So there's three pieces of. Okay. So the RPL token every year inflates by 5%. Right, that's the key thing to understand. 70% of that inflation goes to node operators who use RPL as collateral. The more RPL they use as collateral, the bigger their share of those rewards are. So that's 70% that goes there. The remaining 30%, it was the case that half of that went to the pDAO, and the pDAO's job is to kind of manage community affairs. It's the community DAO, and the other half of that went to the oDAO, which is the Oracle DAO, and they're the people who provide information of like the smart contract stuff and how all the rETH is like out there divided, all the rewards are calculated, all that kind of stuff. So they perform Oracle duties. So there was a lot of sentiment in the community for a long time that the Oracle DAO was getting paid way too much for the services that they were provided. At a certain point this year, they were getting paid like upwards of $50,000 a month, which people were really upset about. They said that this is way, way, way too much, and that money could be used in much better ways. Right. So people from the Rocket Pool community, special shout out goes to Valdorf and others as well, but Valdorf especially kind of like had this whole push to change the understanding of how the oDAO and the pDAO work together. And we talked about the charters that passed recently, the oDAO charter, the pDAO charter. So with those passing, that meant that the oDAO had agreed that they will take a pay cut. And the pay cut happened this week. So they took a 50% pay cut during this reward cycle. And over the coming year, their rewards will be cut down by 0.5% of inflation every month until, in 1 year's time, they will be getting 1.5% of inflation instead of 15% of inflation. And the pDAO will be getting 28.5% of inflation instead of 15% of inflation. So their rewards are going down by 90%. They voted unanimously to reduce their rewards by 90%, which is absolutely amazing. And it's really like instilled a lot of confidence in the oDAO itself. And I think this was like, a masterful stroke by the protocol and the community to do this, because it removed a huge pain point that was present. So I'm really excited about this. I think it's absolutely amazing. And it just will give so much more power to the pDAO to do amazing stuff as we go forward.
Yeah, a unanimous vote by the oDAO to cut its pay by 90%.
Yeah.
I just think about that for a second, how the fact that that doesn't happen too often. I can't think of scenarios where folks will voluntarily vote to decrease their pay by that much, but they did. And I think that speaks a lot to the oDAO, the character of it, the members who make up of it. And, I agree, Valdorf and the rest of the community really spearheaded this immediately after Atlas and got this going. Within 90 days, we had a vote on it. So that's really great. And could you just quickly, so for our listeners, that part of the inflation that used to go to oDAO is now going to go to the protocol DAO.
Yeah.
What does that mean for the future for the protocol DAO?
Currently,
what kind of things are we going to spend that on?
Yeah, currently the protocol DAO has 3 areas where the money goes, right? A part of it goes to the IMC, the Incentives Management Committee, and their job is to improve rETH liquidity and like it's the peg basically for rETH. Another chunk of that goes to the GMC, which is the Grants Management Committee, and their job is to give grants and awards to people in the community who have done good work for Rocket Pool. Like the Weekly Orbit is a recipient of a GMC grant now. Thank you so much. And then also a chunk of that goes to like a rainy day fund. So one of the things that's going to be added to that is the pDAO are going to start paying the Rocket Pool team. And a chunk of that money will go to the team to continue their funding. So the Rocket Pool team will now be a pDAO funded group instead of an oDAO funded group, which is what they were before. And then there's a lot of discussion going on about further division of those newly found rewards and how that's going to work out. But we haven't reached a consensus on that yet. It seems like one of the smarter things to do would be to give that money to the IMC to promote rETH and hopefully also RPL liquidity. But we haven't decided on that yet.
Right. That's great for the next, I can imagine, ramping up incentives. That's really how Lido grew for two reasons, the way I see it. One, they were the first to enter the market. And number two, they incentivized the crap out of their product. And this is great for Rocket Pool that we've got a whole bunch more incentives available to promote rETH and perhaps a little bit with RPL as well.
It's really exciting.
Okay, moving on. Just a real quick shout out. Every 6 weeks or so, I like to cover this. If you're looking to what kind of things can I use rETH or RPL in DeFi, there is a community chart that is maintained. It's updated every couple of weeks. This time Ken from our community updated it. So I'll have it in the show notes. If you're ever wondering where you can use your tokens, this is the one-stop shop for it. So I just wanted to put a brief shout out to Ken for stepping up and updating it this week.
Yeah. There's some really good information there. There's some nice rewards that you can have. Balancer seems like one of the good places where you can get some really nice rewards. Also Gamma, it looks like they're doing some really cool stuff too. And then later on in the episode, we're going to talk about my favorite, but that's not actually included on here, but I think it'll be included in the next one of this. So we'll end the episode with that.
Okay. All right. As you mentioned earlier, WAC, the Grants Committee is one of the recipients of protocol DAO inflation, and the July grants and bounties were awarded, and this program is now paid through a grant. So we are now official shills of RPL and rETH, which I am a holder of both, and I believe you are too, Hack. So just full disclosure, we get paid to shill Rocket Pool, which I'm very happy to do. But if you're looking to see this period's rewards and who got grants and bounties, we'll have a link in the show notes. I see your name on here as well, Wack. Is there any there's a lot here, and congratulations to all who were awarded. And thank you, personal thanks to the committee for funding the Weekly Orbit. We appreciate it. We know it's a lot of work, and so thank you. But is there any project on here that caught your eye? You're a member of the GMC.
Yeah, I'm on the voting committee, but I was restricted from my voting powers this month because I had my own grant up. There are a couple here, like, the continuation of grants, like the Rescue Node, which is an amazing service. There's also Twitter Spaces that are going away from the team funding that to the pDAO funding that. The GMCs will be funding that for Jasper and Kent. Also, there's some exciting stuff like Romano with the staking pond, and I'm looking forward to seeing how that's going to work out. And there's some really good stuff. And also, Invis got another retroactive bounty for the Rocket Watch, which is a bot that I absolutely love. So it's really cool that's happened.
I see Sleety's on here too. He has those really awesome Rocket Pool animations he's put together.
That's right.
So it's cool to see he's funded as well. So we'll have a link in the show notes. If you want to go jump in and take a look, feel free. Okay, on to our next topic. a little plug for you. You're becoming famous, Whack, being interviewed here by Girl Proton. It's let's see, the Rocket Pool Node Operator interview series is live with a spotlight on Whack. Watch and listen to the tips and tricks of being an RPL node operator, aka an ETH, aka ultrasound money validator through Rocket Pool. So how did this go for you?
Yeah, this is really wonderful. Like Kent, who works with Stake Rocket Pool, who published this, it was on Launchpad a few weeks ago, talking about some of the things that he's working on. And one of the things that he's working on is like, educating people about Rocket Pool, which is really cool. So we kind of like built a relationship, and we met in East Denver actually. And Kent's really, really cool. And Sunshine is someone who's working with Kent and doing like these interview series with node operators. And they reached out to me to see if I wanted to be on there. Sunshine's considering becoming a Rocket Pool node operator. She's working towards becoming a Rocket Pool node operator. So she had a lot of questions about like what my experience was like as a node operator, but then also like, questions about me as a person, and yeah, if you watch this, it might help you like get to know me and like how I think about the world a little bit more than you would just as seeing me as a host of Rocket Fuel and on Weekly Orbit. But it was a really nice interview. It was only 45 minutes, but we covered some fun things, and I think it was a really fun chat. So thanks for Kent and Sunshine for organizing that, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I started watching part of it yesterday, and you're quite a traveler. Over 25 countries you've been to. One of the things that folks may not know.
Yeah,
and a marathon runner. Who would have known?
It's been a couple of years since I ran my marathon, but I used to run a whole lot, and I'm trying to get back into it, but it's been a bit difficult with the new guy. But hopefully in the next few months I can get into a good routine and get running again.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, on to our next. Oh, look at that. Speaking of it, this was supposed to be at the end, but it just popped up. Look at this magnificent beard, everybody. That looks like it was grown since birth.
Yeah, it was.
And I think a little younger Whack as well.
Yeah, this was I think around 7 or 8 years ago. I had a really long beard, so yeah.
Did you have to moisturize that?
Yeah, I would shampoo and condition it and like brush it every day and like really look after it. So yeah, it was nice. I shared this image on Twitter because I was talking to Anthony Sassano, and he shared a picture of his, so I thought I'd share something as well. If you actually scroll up a little bit, I think you might be able to see another fun image. Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah.
This was me before Rocket Pool, like a long time ago, and then after Rocket Pool, like how I've changed. So yeah.
Did you shave your eyebrows to make them so straight
that was
like
the lighting. That was a trick of the lighting. I'll have like it wasn't anything else. It's just like a kind of like a furrowed brow, So yeah.
You and Sassano should grow. Well, Sassano already got the beard, but you should grow it till ETH is 10K and then cut it. I don't know what Mrs. Whack would think about that, but
yeah, I think she was happy that the beard is not that long anymore. So yeah.
Well, that's a magnificent beard, I must say.
Thank you.
Okay, so that we got out of order there a little bit, but this is a really great news item, Whack. The next one, Jasper tweets, shout out to the Coinbase Wallet team for including rETH as a decentralized alternative to cbETH. With 3,000 node operators in Coinbase on the Rocket Pool oDAO, this is a logic continuation for providing users the most options. Can't wait to see what Base brings. And this is a screenshot from the Coinbase Wallet. And interesting, they recommend CB, if you're looking to get yield on your ETH, they recommend cbETH, of course. But then the only other alternative they list here is decentralized rETH, which is great. And Base just went live, or they're going live, I think August 9th to everyone. So this is really exciting to see that they've integrated this into their wallet. And I don't see Lido on here, so that's really interesting. What do you think?
It's a nice change from the MetaMask integration. So the MetaMask also had a stake ETH integration that they did a few months ago, and they listed the Lido stETH and rETH, and we haven't really had much traction from that integration. Like I've seen some deposits coming through, like some decent ones, but nothing like earth-shattering. With the Coinbase, I think that this with the Base, I think we're positioned really nicely here for some really cool stuff. And the reason for that is Coinbase now starting their own layer 2 on Ethereum built on the OP stack, Optimism stack. And they, I think, will start funneling their users from the Coinbase exchange onto the Coinbase wallet, which is their non-custodial wallet. And I think it makes sense for them to integrate like the base functionality into that wallet. With having rETH integration as one of those, this potentially opens up to millions of people who will be using the Coinbase wallet in the coming months. Coinbase has 110 million users worldwide. So even if we get like a small fraction of that looking at ETH staking here and seeing Rocket Pool not only being the more decentralized option, but also here having a higher APR, that would be amazing to see like what's going to happen with that. So I'm really looking forward to seeing like, what this integration brings. And I hope it's some good stuff.
Yeah, and they're really setting up nicely during this bear market with getting the base ready to go. It's going to be online, and perhaps at some point next year, I don't know when, a bull comes back and all those retail users start logging into their Coinbase accounts, and they're funneled into base, and this is going to be part of that and on their wallets. So watch out. We'll see what base does.
Really
I think they're in a
news.
nice position to grow.
Really, really great news.
Okay, and our final news of the week, we just added this at the last minute. Morpho Labs is, the tweet is, Morpho is the most profitable place to implement leverage staking strategies, according to DeFi Saver. Max APY for cbETH and rETH is about 20%. The recipe creator enables users to open and close positions in a single click. Okay, translate this for us. What does this mean, Wack, that Morpho Labs is tweeting out?
Okay, so there's a lot to
Why are you so
like
excited?
I'm really, really excited about this. Like, I'm truly excited about this. So, but I'm going to temper my excitement for all of you all. But there's a few things to kind of unpack here. The first of all, this screenshot is from DeFi Saver, which is a front end for people interacting with DeFi services that kind of makes it a little bit easier for you to use those services. Now, on here, they've got Morpho. Like under their leverage staking section, they have Morpho as one of the platforms that does it, and that routes through Aave. And then they've also got like actual Aave as well that you can just go to directly. Now, what's happening here is because of that reward spike on rETH, the rewards that you get for rETH now are higher than the interest you would pay on an ETH loan you got by depositing your rETH into Aave or potentially other services coming up. Now, because there's a spread there, what happens is you can use that ETH then to mint more rETH, and you keep the difference. So, for example, if I deposited my ETH into Aave and I got like 1 ETH back, I can use that then to mint more rETH. The rewards that I would get on the rETH would be higher than the interest that I'd pay on my ETH loan that I took in the beginning. And basically, it lets you do this multiple times, like 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times. So here, it says max leverage 10 times. I don't think, you really should take it 10 times, but taking it 5, 6, 7, 8 times potentially might be okay. Now, what was happening in the past was the rewards that you were getting on rETH were less than the interest payment that was being asked of ETH, so it wasn't a profitable strategy. However, now this has become a profitable strategy, so the rewards are looking really nice. I should caution, of course, that this might be short-lived because we've had that beautiful spike in rewards at the moment, that it might not be that you can keep this position open for a long time. It might just be like looking really good for a short period of time. However, as we go forward and as all the ETH in the queue gets added back onto the beacon chain and is like productive again, then that effectiveness rate on the protocol will go closer to 100% or like in the high 90s. Then that reward hopefully should leave rETH in a position that's higher than the ETH borrow rate on these services, and then you can keep using this in the longer term. 20% looks really nice. It looks like people have even said like this is scammy and like what's going on over here, people who don't understand how it works, but it might settle down to like slightly lower numbers than this, or in certain periods, if MEV goes really high in the network, if there's like a busy period or something, then it could go even higher. So this is something that I'm really excited about. I really think that, if this is sustained, it will drive a lot of growth towards rETH, with people wanting to get into these leverage positions that look so good. And of course, we have ICRETH coming up as well any day now. And the great thing about that is they'll automate it on the back end. So if the rewards are looking good, they'll increase leverage. And if the rewards aren't looking good, then they'll decrease leverage or even like close out the position if it's unprofitable. So that's going to be really nice too. So this is something that's really exciting, something I'm really looking forward to seeing how it grows. And I hope that my excitement this time is like I can live up to it more than I did last time, because it was a bit of a damn squib last time. So yeah.
Well, it's hard not to get excited sometimes with Rocket Pool.
Yeah.
So that's the end of our episode this week, guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks for listening. Of course, none of it was financial advice. Stay tuned for next week's episode. Whack, have a great week.
Yeah, you too, man. Like, enjoy your weekend, and for all of you out there, have fun.
Okay, take care.
Bye.